Mike Pereira, has it been that long?
My God, this is my 8th season coming up with Fox.
No
It's
kidding.
like time flies by.
So is
Especially when you're my age.
Are you making Blandino carry your bags or sing his college fight song?
He
or something
carries my bags. He's going to buy my newspaper for me. He's going to get me my coffee in the morning before we go on air.
Okay.
He's going to do his due diligence when it comes to working with me.
Mm-hmm. Good for you, Mike. That's the way you roll. Fox Rules analyst from back in the day at the NFL officiating office, Mike Pereira, here on the show. How is this going to work, the NFL's plan to make 21 to 24 current part-time officials full-time?
Well, I'll tell you, it's a work in progress because I don't think the league even knows how it's going to work, and neither does the union. Look, I think they've named it wrongly. I think you have to clear the smoke out and look and see what's underneath. And to me, it's not full-time. I mean, they're saying it's full-time, but really all that is happening here is that the league is going to get access to 21 to 24 of the officials during what is called the dark period. And that's in their collective bargaining agreement that basically says that the league cannot contact the officials from the end of the regular season until May 15th, except for playoff games or physicals or special clinics that they need to, help somebody that's struggling. And what this is really only going to do is get these 24 that aren't going to be in that dark period, and they can use them for mentoring other officials. And they can also use them if they want them to go to an OTA or a mini camp, but they're going to have to pay them each time they do leave their house to perform a function that the league asked them to do, and there's no clarity in that yet. And so I think the other thing to recognize here is they still can have another job. The NFL is not telling them that they can't work another job, but they are telling them that they have first rights to access. So if you've got a Gene Steratore who, if he chose to do it, I mean, if he wanted to continue to work basketball, he could. If the league wanted him for a project that would conflict with the NCAA basketball game, then the NFL would win out. But it remains to be seen how much these guys will be used, what their duties are going to be, and if the league really wants to put out the money, to get them to go to mini camps and training camps and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so you just laid a lot out there. So first things,
I know, you know me.
No, I know that. So because when you hear full-time refereeing, you're thinking these guys are just, that's it. They're 24/7, 365. They're in the rule book. They're in a study room. They're in a film room. They're constantly working on the National Football League. And you're saying that is not going to be the case. Even though we don't, it's not like they stick them in a hermetically sealed room and say, learn the rule book and don't come out.
Not the case. Now, they do a lot of the stuff like you're talking about on their own all the time. If you were going to say that they were going to be full-time, then you'd say, okay, then we're going to pay them like you pay Major League Baseball umpires or NBA basketball officials. But that's not the case. You're taking they're going to continue to be members of the union. They won't be quote-unquote full-time employees of the league with benefits that come from the league. All they're going to do is basically be paid a stipend to be available during that dark period, which, is a $40,000 stipend basically for each of the 24. And then they'll get paid additional meeting fees every time they go out. But think about it. I mean, you can still have another job. Other than the times that you're asked to go to an OTA or mini camp, you're probably doing the same thing that you were doing anyways, which is helping to mentor other officials that were struggling. So I'm not saying it's a bad move. I think it's a step in the direction that, that needs to be taken. But, to me, it's like the league has said, okay, we've got a sore here. We got a cold sore, and they're just putting a Band-Aid on the cold sore instead of really trying to rectify the whole problem. And I give them the fact that they are taking a step, but don't call it full-time because that's really not what it is.
So then Mike Pereira, Fox Sports, joins me. What would full-time look like then for you? If you could wave a wand and say these are full-time.
full-time to me is, it's a program that I always thought they should have done. That's to take the 17 referees, those that have the most influence in the league, and make them full-time, which means during the season they go to an officiating institute. They break down everything together, all 17 together all the time. They're involved with everything. And to me, that was the next step that needed to be taken. Role playing, so you make proper announcements, those types of things, because the referees really do carry the influence of the entire crew by the way they project themselves. To me, that was the next step. Make sure that they have constant, consistent messaging that goes out to their 17 crews. This doesn't do that. I mean, this works basically in the off season to try to make people, other officials, better. But again, I just don't see it as the notion of being full time.
So, how much money were you talking about? Because you always got to follow the money here. I mean, you're talking about.
Well, if you follow the money trail, I mean, they, basically, if they hire up to 24 people, each will get $40,000 to be available as a stipend.
No, but the way that you're talking about it, though, Mike.
Oh, and the way I'm talking about it. Yeah. Well, if you do that, then I think what you have to do, I thought it was pretty simple. What you have to do is you take a look at a 20-year baseball umpire and a 20-year NBA basketball official, and then that's what you've got to pay. You got to pay a 20-year guy in the NFL the same amount to be full-time, because essentially you'd be true full-time during the season. But that's a pretty good sum of money. But I think just by the sense of where they are in this, I don't think they have any interest in going that direction where they're going to pay full-time money to have full-time officials that don't do anything else. I mean, let's face it, Gene Steratore is not going to give up his lucrative NCAA basketball career as a referee if he had to under this agreement. So you're not going to see him be one of the 24 because he couldn't have worked NCAA basketball in December, basically. So you're free if you have the flexibility of a job to do whatever you want during the season, in the off season, but the NFL has first dibs on you if they want to give you a project. We will see what that project and how many of those they give to the 21 to 24.
So, Brockman, help me out with this. Did Mike Pereira say that Gene Steratore can't get better at NFL officiating because he's too busy screwing up the Big Ten? Is that what it is?
Wait a minute. The Big Ten, the Big East, the ACC, let's name them all. Why just stay with the Big Ten?
It sounded like it.
Is that what I just heard?
Sounded like it, okay. Yeah.
So if the NFL followed the Pereira Institute of higher refereeing plan, how would that make it better on a Sunday? How would that actually manifest itself?
I think that your 17 most important officials are the referees. They are what they call the leaders of the crew.
Yes.
They are the ones that teach their other 6 guys. They are the ones that give them the messages that come from the league office. And what happens is sometimes these messages, don't get translated to the 17 crews all the same. And to me, they are the brightest. They ought to be involved in all the decision-making process. They ought to make sure that their announcements, that they have the proper preparation for their announcements, that they all are rule experts, which most of them are close to being anyways. It's almost impossible to be perfect with this rule book. But, to me, if they were the leaders of the crew, they were together, the 17 referees were all together looking at the same place all week with the same messages, I do think it would make officiating more consistent. And if you ask any coach in the league, any general manager, any owner, the one issue that they always talk about is consistency. And, judgment is one thing, but consistent application of the rule and the point of emphasis is something everybody wants, and I think it would improve that.
So a couple last questions for you, Mike Pereira, Fox Sports rules analyst, former head of NFL officiating. If this were offered to you, the 2 years you were an NFL official, would you have signed up for it?
This new position?
What the NFL is currently offering the current official. Would you have signed up?
I would have flown on my own nickel to New York to sign up for it. I'll be doing mostly the same thing I've been doing, but get paid extra money for it. I think it was a win for the officials, and I think it was a PR move by the league. And I don't think it really addresses the issue. It's a step, but I'm not even sure that the league, when you have a new change of leadership with Blandino out and Al Riveron in, I'm not sure how they're going to implement this, and I'm not sure they know how they're going to implement this. It's certainly going to be a work in progress, and to me, though, not at all a significant step like some people are trying to make it out to be. I applaud them for taking the first step, but it doesn't go far enough.
And so when it's all said and done, the best you can tell as to who's going to apply and who will be accepted, do you think people in Phoenix, Arizona, seeking legal advice will still be able to walk into the offices of Jones, Skelton, and Ed Hockley and get the advice of Mr. Biceps himself? Will he be there?
Well, when they walked into the office of Jones and Skelton and Hockley in Phoenix, they would actually say, I'm sorry, Mr. Hockley is living on the beach in San Diego. So if you want to reach him, you better go take a plane to San Diego. And he ain't doing this very much anymore. So unless you want to talk to one of our other attorneys, you're out of luck.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
How about that?
I didn't know. So Ed's not really doing much legal stuff anymore? Is what you're saying?
No. Ed is enjoying the fruits of his work that he put in as a lawyer. He's doing a little bit of side work for that firm, but
side work.
He's enjoying the fruits of the ocean in San Diego and a great relationship with a relatively new wife, and he's enjoying kind of watching his son progress in the NFL. And I am going to say, within 3 years, you will see Ed Hockley step off the field.
No, don't tell me, Mike.
And into his shoes will be Sean Hockley, his son, and he will spend the rest of the time proudly watching his kid work.
So we got 3 years left. And so last one, when Ed was doing legal work more than he has, do you know, did he wear a medium suit as well? Did he show it off?
He did his. Come on now. He did his closing arguments in a tank top. He wanted to take full advantage.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, after further review, I must say I did my biceps work today. How do you like me now? That was his closing argument, essentially. Very good.
That was it.
Mike, I love you. We'll chat soon.
You got it.
You guys, Mike Pereira.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you liked some of that, get some more of that on the Rich Eisen Show app. Follow all the information you see right here on the Rich Eisen Show.